cause a big upset and silence this big crowd here in Wellington today. Obviously this is all part of the new qualification structure, and overall there are 7 places available in the Asia Qualifiers.
Number 00, Harley Corey.
Top 3 teams from the 2 groups go through, plus the 4th best place team. And Syria are now being introduced to the crowd.
Number 10,
and for them, making it through to the second round is absolutely an achievement. They won't bow out without a battle. That's one thing for sure. They've shown that throughout the qualifiers. And Syrian basketball is certainly on the up and provides a much-needed ray of light in what has been a difficult phase for Syria as a country. And it truly shows that basketball can provide inspiration for future generations to achieve great things. Those guys in the white and red can be absolutely proud of what they've achieved so far and the positive impact that they're making.
And now for the New Zealand, the
TSB Bank Arena, the home team are going to be introduced to the crowd. And New Zealand, they've been to the World Cup finals 5 times before. They were there in 2014, the last World Cup finals in Spain. They finished 15th. And they've been very impressive throughout the qualification process. So they'll not only be looking to qualify, but they'll be looking to make some waves in China next year. And they certainly seem a lot better than their global ranking of 38 suggests. I'm sure they'll be moving up those rankings very shortly indeed.
Number 25, Ethan Rusbach, and wearing number 35 for the Tall Blacks, Alex Fletcher. Head coach Paul Henare.
An awful lot of experience in that roster.
And ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national
before we start proceedings, first the national anthem of Syria, followed by New Zealand's national anthem,
which will be followed by the national anthem of New Zealand, to be sung by Grant Sullivan. Alaikum salam, abatan tadilla nufusul kiram, arin oloru biti eitum haram, wa arsu shumusi iman ayudam, rubo shahemi burujolale, tuheki samahabya lisana. Rubo shahemi burujulale, tuheki sama abyale sana, fardun zahat bishumu silwidan, sama umlam ruka oka sama.
Wonderful live renditions there of both national anthems.
And as is tradition, the teams will now exchange gifts.
Have truly embraced these World Cup qualifiers, provided some great entertainment on the court and off the court, and the crowd in the TSB Bank Arena are in for a great game of basketball ahead of us. Obviously before that, this is New Zealand. We wouldn't be able to get things underway without the traditional haka, and we'll dive straight into that to enjoy the extra dimension that brings to international basketball here in New Zealand. Absolutely wonderful sight in world sport. Very few sights that get you ready for a game like the haka. Obviously, originally designed as a warm-up going into battle, and that certainly hasn't changed when it takes place on a basketball court. You can see the passion in the players' eyes. You can see what it means to them to represent their country, and wonderfully respected by the Syrian players as well on the half court. Here are our officials for today's game. Ferdinand Pascual from the Philippines, Takaki Kato from Japan, and Rukyo Buaron from the Philippines as well. They'll be making sure everything is by the book in what is set to be another wonderful game of international basketball, as we have been treated to some absolutely special events here in the World Cup qualifiers. Here's your Syrian roster. Alosh and Al Hamwi had big games against China on Thursday. They combined for an impressive 29 points. They'll probably need to produce more today if they come away with the win. Also expect to see Al Jabi on the offensive end as well. There's your starting five for Syria, and the big man Al Hamwi is a presence in the paint, to say the least. Standing at 220. He's a dominating figure within the Syrian roster. Looking across now at the Tall Blacks. And Abercrombie is flying high at the moment. He's averaging 13 points a game through qualifications, but it's really hard to pick one player who's going to lead them offensively. Vodanovic, Natai and Pledger, they're also averaging double-digit scoring in the qualifiers, and they've plenty to offer. Here's your starting five for New Zealand: Tarangi, Kenny, Vukona, Abercrombie and Lowe. And that's a pretty impressive starting five. Plenty of experience and talent in the Tall Blacks roster once again. Now just over a minute away from the tip-off here in Wellington. And those teams will be just getting their minds fully focused on the job at hand. Obviously for New Zealand, a win today puts them through to the World Cup finals. What an achievement that would be for them. And something that they won't be taking too lightly. But they've been very impressive through qualifying, and they've definitely earned their way there. As head coach Matic for Syria, he knows that Syrian basketball can be considered work in progress. They can certainly be proud of what they've achieved so far, but imagine a win here today, how much that would lift the basketball community back in Syria. And head coach Hanaya has masterminded a near-perfect qualification campaign so far, but he also knows that his team can't afford to be complacent against Syria today. But you have to bear in mind that looking back, you'd have to go all the way back, nearly 13 months now, to see a loss for the Tall Blacks. They lost opening game against Korea by 6 points, and since then they have won all 8 of their qualifiers. Absolutely dominant display from them, and the way they've done it as well has been very impressive. They're the only team in the Asian qualifiers to be above 50% from the field, and yeah, they certainly have set their stall out very early in these qualifiers as one of the hot teams from the Asian region. As the fives come onto the floor, and we get the final preparations in place for this big game of World Cup qualifying basketball. You can almost sense the nerves in the crowd. It's that expectation and that excitement. They know they might see their team qualify for the World Cup today. That certainly brought them out in their droves. But here we go in Wellington at the TSB Bank Arena, and the tip-off gets us underway in what is set to be another great FIBA World Cup qualifier. Lowe now hands it off. Kenny with the ball in hands. Good quick movement. Vukona. Oh, a wayward pass from Vukona. And Lowe would have to have extraordinary reach to have reached that one, and a wry smile on Vukona's face as he knows it was a little bit optimistic. And Syria get their first offense underway. Oh, and it's stolen away straight away. Here's Vukona, and an easy one-handed jam to get things underway for the Tall Blacks. Alosh now brings it up over the half to Al Hamwi. Back to Alosh, and Syria won't be phased. They've got an awful lot of experience from this so far. Alosh now comes back. Al Hamwi fades to the basket. Trying to use his size, can't quite get away with it, but that's some good hustle from Kori. And there's the steal from Vukona and the transition dunk. There's very few nicer ways to get your scoring underway than an easy fast break dunk. Al Hamwi with a fade away from the elbow is off target this time. Vukona comes back to low, and he can't quite get that to drop. Bakar now. The drive hands it back to Alosh, and Syria once again will slow things down. A little bit too slow at the moment though. They need a little bit more impetus in their offense. Al Hamwi, right hand floater way off the mark. Nice penetrating bounce pass, and that's finished with authority by Abercrombie. And Abercrombie will be grateful to get his scoring underway. Oh, and another steal. Oh, almost a poster dunk from Tarangi. Can't get it to go though. He'll earn himself a trip to the line, and New Zealand have started this game as they've played pretty much the whole qualifiers. Threads the eye of the needle with the pass, and Abercrombie finishes with style, and oh, what was almost a big poster dunk. Loses the handle at the last second. But Tarangi will go to the line. He shot 67% from the line so far in these qualifiers. Had a good game against Jordan last time out. 11.6 rebounds for him. Part of the Brisbane Bullets team in the Australian NBL. Definitely a league to watch, that one. Coming up the world rankings to be one of the most competitive leagues in the world. And New Zealand apply some full court pressure. Will Syria buckle to it though? Seem pretty composed so far. Just need to get it over the half in time, and Alosh obliges. To Bakar. Al Hamwi sets the screen, but it's stolen away again, and Abercrombie's out for the two-handed flush. Certainly in a rim-rocking mood today. And it looks like New Zealand want to try and kill this game off as early as they possibly can. The full court pressure is absolutely sprawling as Alosh throws it away. Another interception and a reverse layup for Jared Kenny. New Zealand out to a very, very early 9-point lead, and no real surprise there. Coach Matic for Syria will call a timeout. He needs to draw up a little bit of a press break for his team to take on. They seem a little bit phased by that pressure to start the game. That's a great steal by Abercrombie. Just gets his hand in the right place at the right time and earns himself the fast break dunk. And another interception, this time by Kenny. And a nice soft reverse layup for the two. Let's jump into the Syrian huddle. Let's see what Coach Matic has to say. So pretty calm timeouts as you'd expect. New Zealand drops slightly off the press, and it's a smart move. What you don't want to do is show your cards straight away and let the team know what you're doing. Alosh for three. He's come up short with that one. And rebound by Kori. Alosh slows it down back to Kori. Kori now trying to go inside. He's lost the handle though, but it's looks like it's off the leg of Abercrombie. So it'll still be a Syrian ball. Only 3 seconds on the shot clock though. It really is going to have to be something quick. Al-Hamwi will shoot an uncomfortable jumper, but a rebound inside is great from a drive. Corey can't get it to go, but Syria have time to do something with it. Al-Hamwi now fades away, goes to the glass, nothing there. And that's not what you want to see from Al-Hamwi. He needs to be getting to the basket, into the corner, low for three. Drains the three. And New Zealand are absolutely schooling Syria at the moment, starting the game on a 12-0 run. And Al-Hamwi's now taking over point guard responsibilities. That's the last thing Syria need. The big man needs to be near the paint. Nice pass inside, though. And the foul's going to be called on a drive, and I think that's an unsportsmanlike, rightfully so. He's not really tried to do anything but stop the progression. That's going to send a drive to the line. Tarangi called for the unsportsmanlike foul, and the drive will go to the line for 2 shots. Only 50% from the line. And Syria will be very relieved indeed when they get the scoring underway. 3.5 minutes into the game. Yet to trouble the scorekeepers. And he's not going to trouble him from the line. They'll get another chance, though, as they'll receive the ball on the half. And Alosh will inbound it. Al-Jabi on the ball. Averaging 9.6 a game, so certainly has some offensive firepower with him. Inside Al-Hamwi, and that's where he needs the ball, because New Zealand know that they're going to have to double, if not triple down on him. Currently being guarded by Lowe, and Lowe is giving up 10 centimetres on Al-Hamwi. And he's not a rangy 2 meters 20. He's a very big, strong 2 meters 20. Is Abdul Wahab Al-Hamwi. And a nice soft touch from the line from the big man. He enjoyed his time against China earlier in this qualification window. 14 points, 6 rebounds. And he gets Syria's first point for tonight. Can't add to it with the second, though. That's out to Kenny. Drains the three. And New Zealand continue to apply the pressure as they put their press, their full court man press in place. Dialed down a little bit, though. And Alosh gets it over the half to Corey for three. Too much weight on that one, and the rebound in battle is going to be an interesting one, as Tarangi, I think, gets hooked up with a drive. And here's the three from Jared Kenny. He knows what it's like to be at the World Cup. He was back there in 2014 in Spain for the Tall Blacks. Jared Kenny would love to be there again. Al-Jabi can't get it to go, but the rebound is picked up by a drive. He's put too much on that one, but Al-Hamwi once again is in the paint. Can he get it to go? No. The double team is enough to stop him. Abercrombie now. Little shake inside, trying to find space. Doesn't really want to go up against Al-Hamwi. It's likely to end in a block. Abercrombie drives the baseline, floats inside and is fouled. And that will send Abercrombie to the line. One of the more experienced players in the Tall Blacks roster is Tom Abercrombie. 4 times NBL champion in Australia. Had a good World Cup back in 2014. 7.3 points and 3.7 rebounds per game in that tournament. Gets the first to go, and at 30 years old, is certainly at the back end of the peak of your career, I think would be the polite way of putting it. So he'll be more than aware that the chances to go to World Cups, there's not going to be many more of them for him. Maybe 2, so he's going to grab the opportunity with both hands, that's for sure. Alosh now as New Zealand move into a 2-2-1 zonal press now. A little bit easier for Syria to break, but it has taken 7 seconds off the shot clock. Al-Jabi inside, and that's knocked away. That's great defense by Natai. Into the corner, Abercrombie for three, and drains it. He's up to 9 points already. Just over the midpoint of this first quarter. New Zealand really have started the game on fire. Alosh now. Al-Hamwi sets the screen. Ball comes back out to Correa, and it's going to stay with Syria as Al-Hamwi argues the case for a foul, but there's the corner three for Abercrombie. Al-Hamwi now. Lane opens up for him, comes inside, tough shot off the glass, had to take it, shot clock was running down, and the foul's going to be called on Correa, and he needs to be careful that you don't get called for an unsportsmanlike, reasonably cynical foul just to stop the New Zealand transition. And New Zealand have been absolutely ruthless so far in this game as a drive goes to the bench for Syria, and in comes Sheikh Ali. Kenny now pulls up for another three. Off right this time. Vukona's going to fight for the rebound, can't quite keep it in though, but shows, doesn't it? They're even up by 19 points, and they want to chase down those loose balls. Al-Jabi now. Correa. He brings it up over the half. Has it knocked away, though. He's a little bit asleep on the ball there. And Abercrombie will scoop up the loose ball. Nice shake. Pulls up at the free throw line. Off target with the jumper, though. And Syria will come away with the rebound. Correa inside to Al-Jabi. Nice use of his body. Can't get it to go, though. And loses the rebound in battle to Vukona. Low for three. Oh, hits the three. Absolutely dominant performance from New Zealand here, starting this one 23-1. 6.5 minutes gone. Syria have only lodged 1 point on the board from the free throw line. Nice hustle back by Natai. Not allowing Al-Osh to get the shot off. A couple of changes for New Zealand. As Vukona will go, and there's a replay of Natai staying with the play on the defensive end. Al-Hamwi comes back out to Alosh as New Zealand sit in a 2-3 zone at the moment, mixing up their defenses. It's always good for a team as well to have those options, have the defenses in your locker. Mix them around, keep the other team on their toes. Always good to have that. And already into the game is Cruz Perrott Hunt. Off the glass for two, and that's the first field goal of the game for Syria with a little over 3 minutes left in this first quarter. Low for three, bricks that one. And Karadzian there. Just into the game and already scored more than the rest of his team combined. Low will check out. And in comes Alex Pledger. Long pass to Perrott Hunt. Passes it to Pledger. Pledger wasn't ready for that pass though, and Syria will take the turnover. Back into the hands of Karadzian, and Al-Jabi now will pull the trigger on the three, and he's off target. A little bit scrappy now for both teams, last couple of plays. Perrott Hunt now to Pledger. Nice free throw line jumper for Pledger to get his account underway. And the New Zealand lead is back up to 22. Al-Osh waiting for the Al-Hamwi screen to come in. Comes inside, nice handoff. That's much better. As Sheikh Ali, just coming to the game as well, gets himself a field goal. Much more fluid offense there from Syria. And Syria also have dropped into the 2-3 zone. Pledger, little fade away, gets it to go, and back-to-back buckets for Alex Pledger. This is his 6th World Cup qualifier, averaging 10.2 points a game, the veteran big man. Oh, nice backdoor pass. Can they make it count? Not at the moment. Still going to be a Syrian ball, though. And here's the sweet offense from Syria. Alosh finding the cut from Sheikh Ali, and no mistaking that. An easy 2 off the glass. 1:29 left in this first quarter, and to say that New Zealand have dominated is an understatement. Now Hamwi goes to the bench for Syria. Corner 3 for Sheikh Ali. Not found his range from that distance yet. Natai for 3. Nor has he, and the field goal shooting percentages certainly have gone down in the last couple of minutes for both teams. Rusbach now goes to Perrott Hunt, back to Rusbach. Good ball movement here. Oh, wonderful pass inside, and that's a hard foul from Sele. Vodanovic will go to the line for 2 shots. Played his first qualifying game on Thursday in New Zealand's big win against Jordan, and picked up 11 points. That's a nice start to your World Cup campaign. Also plays for the New Zealand Breakers roster in the Australian NBL. Quite a few of the players in today's team do. In fact, 7 out of the 12 are from the Breakers roster, so they already have chemistry. New Zealand back into a 2-2-1 zone press. Easily broken though by Syria, but it does take time off the shot clock, that's for sure. Al-Jabi now to Alosh. Back to Saleh. Alosh now, Al-Jabi pulls trigger on a long 3. That's got some distance. As Karadzian hits the deck for Syria, going for the rebound. Into the corner, Rusbach goes inside. Oh, that's a lovely move by Vodanovic. He gets himself some more points. And the New Zealand lead is up to 26 as we enter the final 15 seconds of this first quarter. Alosh to Al-Jabi. Saleh hands it back to Al-Jabi. He's trying to weave his way through, and it's not an easy task. Every which way he turns, there seems to be a black jersey. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter here in Wellington at the TSB Bank Arena. And it has gone all the way of New Zealand. End of the first quarter, New Zealand 31, Syria 5 in this important World Cup qualifier. So an absolutely perfect start for New Zealand here in Wellington as they lead this one by 26 after the first quarter. Great shooting across the floor for them. Syria still plenty to work on, only 5 points in the first 10 minutes. And it started early. That was the opening bucket for Vukona, a transition dunk. And some real highlight plays from New Zealand in the first 10 minutes. And Abercrombie there, he's up to 9 points already. And Rob Lowe's on 6, Jared Kenny on 5, Pledger on 4, Vodanovic on 4. For Syria, only 2 players to register field goal, Sheikh Ali and Karadzian. The only other point is from Al Hamwi, and he's 1 from 2 from the line, the big man. Still 30 minutes of action here to go, though. You have a feeling Syria will find their form at some point in this game. That's been probably the weakness, that they haven't been able to string maybe as much consistency as they'd have liked in their game for the 40 minutes, but the flashes they show certainly make them competitive with some of the better teams in the Asia qualifiers. But a big step forward for Syria to make it through to the second round of qualifiers, but they'll want to battle throughout their remaining 2 games in the next window in February, but not before that. They've obviously got the 30 minutes here. Still plenty of juice left in this game, but New Zealand will want to put a show on for the crowd. They'll want to secure their passage to the World Cup finals today. So here we go, back into the action as the second quarter starts here in Wellington. New Zealand lead this one 31-5 over Syria. Can they continue to dominate this game as they have so far? Alosh now for Syria. Nice ball movement, and Karagian couldn't quite find the lane. Can Saleh? He can't. And that's going to be a foul called on Saleh as he tries to get back and defend. Just catches the back of the Tall Blacks. First foul for Saleh. Natai inbounds it to Perrott Hunt. Just 17 years old, Perrott Hunt. Wonderful experience to be able to wear the full senior jersey at such a young age. You can imagine the emotions, not just for him, but his family as well. A very, very proud moment indeed this weekend, representing his country, both against Jordan as well as Syria here. Perrott Hunt now. Drives to the basket. Nice pass back. Pledger goes outside. Vodanovic can't get that to go, and well taken rebound from a drive. Alosh for 3. Off the mark with that one. Perrott Hunt, oh, lovely change of pace. Couldn't quite open the defense up enough for the lane though. Perrott Hunt for 3, hits a 3. Wonderful shot. That's his first 3 of his New Zealand career. I'm pretty sure it won't be his last. Plenty more 3s to see from him in the years to come. Alosh does the right thing. When you're in a situation like Syria are at the moment, where they're just not finding any opportunities on the offensive end, it's absolutely the right thing. Try and force the pace a little bit, be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more direct to the basket. See if you can make something happen for yourself rather than trying to wait for it to happen. And that's exactly what Alosh has done there. He's earned himself a trip to the line. He's only 50% from the line in these qualifiers so far. And only 1 from 2 there as well, so he keeps up his free throw record. Syria are up to 6 now. Perrott Hunt fakes the 3, passes it on. Nice play! Wonderful and selfish play by Perrott Hunt as he hands it off to Rusbach for the 3. And Perrott Hunt will fill up this box score. He's already up to 2 assists. Alosh now. Into the hands of Al-Jabi. He's inside, right hand float off the glass. Nice move. Tarek Al-Jabi. Shot's good again. And that time it's Natai with the triple. And New Zealand are shooting very well indeed from the perimeter. 64% so far this evening. Alosh swings it round. Oh, and the foul's going to be called on Vodanovic. And that's going to send a drive to the line for 3 free throws. Bakar's going to come back into the game for Syria. And Pledger will come out of the game for New Zealand as Vukona comes in, and Vodanovic comes out as well as Harrison comes in. No good at the line with that one. But another foul's going to be called, and that's going to be Harrison's first contribution, picking up a foul. Only one from the 3 from the line there from a drive. Wait for the call here. That time, Rusbach is going to be called for the foul. Pass to Al-Jabi, and now into Bakar. Bakar drives to the bucket. Off the glass, doesn't get the roll this time. Nice hustle under the glass though, but Harrison's there to block that one out. And Vukona will grab the rebound on that attempt. Syria starting to look a little bit more confident. Into the corner. Doesn't get the 3 to go, but Vukona's there to scoop up the rebound. Al-Jabi now with the ball. Goes to Bakar. Bakar looking for a seam to drive down. Al-Jabi, nice change of direction, skips inside. Always a tough shot to take. Harrison with the rebound. Nice bounce pass. Looked like a travel, wasn't called though, and instead it's going to be Ethan Rusbach with the 2. And the New Zealand lead is up to 35 points now. Karadzian will progress it over the half for Syria. He's got the first step, but has to hand it off. Oh, another big block by Harrison. Welcome to the block party for Harrison. Long shot attempt, and there's a nice rebound there, well followed by Anthony Bakar. And it's plays like that are going to be so critical for Syria in this game. Oh, wide open jumper is good for Natai. Sorry, it was Rusbach. My mistake. And it's an issue that they're going to have to deal with. New Zealand are getting wide open on the perimeter, even in the transition. They need to lock down the defensive end a little bit harder at the moment. Otherwise, they're going to keep leaking points. Karadzian goes inside, pulls up. Nice 2 off the glass. An awful lot better composure on the offensive end from Syria in this second quarter. They just need to ramp up the defensive intensity now. They're sitting in the 2-3 zone, and I'm not sure that's doing them any favours. Perrott Hunt called for the foul. And Rusbach will take a seat on the bench. first is good from the line for Hania Dribe. After that Parrot Hunt foul. And into the game for the first time is Rakawa for New Zealand as well. And Syria into a zone press themselves now. Oh, and they're going to squeeze. Beautiful play by Syria. Wonderful defense, almost textbook. Force the ball to the sideline and then use that out of bounds line almost as an extra defender. Almost worked for them. Vukona now. And I think that Natai stepped out of bounds. So it's going to be a Syrian ball and another shoelace for Syria to do up. Seems to be contagious at the moment, the shoelaces for the Syrians. Parrot Hunt will come out of the game. And Kenny checks in for New Zealand. Karadzian now inside, again off the glass, no good this time though, and Rakawa will come away with the ball for New Zealand. Harrison floats to the glass, can't get a two to go, but draws the foul, hands himself a trip to the line. Nice heads up pass from Rakawa, and Alhamwi reaches in and fouls. Harrison will head to the line for two shots. The first is good. He needs to be a bit careful though. He overbalanced and stepped forward. The officials deemed that it was after the shot went through. First points of the night for Harrison. And the second. And Coach Annette and his assistants will be more than happy with what New Zealand have done so far. I'm sure it was a tactic to try and secure this game and get a big lead early, and they certainly have done that. That's enabling them to now rotate throughout their 12, give everyone plenty of court time. As Syria try and fight their way back into this one. Bakar now to Sheikh Ali. Back to Karadzian. Karadzian inside, hands it off to Alhamwi. Oh, he's rejected. Good play by Harrison. A 3-on-1 break for New Zealand. And a two-handed alley-oop flush for Harrison. He's got it going on at both ends of the floor. What a couple of plays there for Tyrell Harrison. Blocking Alhamwi at one end, getting his legs out in the other, and throwing it down. On the transition alley-oop. A drive, drains the two. And Syria keep chipping away. They're not going to lay down on this one. Harrison now. And that's going to be a travel. Didn't get the ball down quick enough. And here's the block. Alhamwi goes it up. And Harrison says, nah, that one belongs to me. And he got out of the races. And there's the alley-oop jam, and that's what you got to do when a big man gets out, stretches his legs and runs the hardwood. Reward him for his hard work. Take some effort to carry that frame that far, that fast. Bakar being guarded closely by Kenny, but he gets the better of him this time. And Syria slowly but surely are warming up here in Wellington. Vukona skips it out. Nice, unselfish play. Abercrombie for three. Nails the three. First player to double digits, Tom Abercrombie. He's up to 12 points now. 80% from the field for him this evening. Bakar now to a drive. Sheikh Ali. Bakar backs his way in, tries to use the glass. The foul's going to be called. wait to see who's that is going to be allocated against. That one's going to go on Harrison. That's his second foul, and it certainly is a defensive challenge for Tyrell Harrison, being handed Al-Hamwi to defend. Al-Hamwi can't get the first to go. Does get the second though. That takes Syria up to 20 points now. A little over 2 minutes left in this second quarter. Harrison skips inside. Nice soft right hand. He's up to 6 points now. Karadzian uses the drive screen and looking for Al-Hamwi again, but Harrison's working hard to keep him out. Can't this time though, and an easy jam for Al-Hamwi. Certainly doesn't have to jump that high to throw it down. Rakawa to Vukona. Vukona goes up against Al-Hamwi and gets the better of him. Another 2 points for Vukona. He's up to 6 points now as well, yet to miss from the field. The drive comes back to Karadzian. Inside to a drive, lovely find by Karadzian. Wonderful heads-up play, and Vukona's going to get called for the foul. And there's the pass inside, and here's the dunk. And you wonder with Al-Hamwi whether the jump is just for show, because I'm not sure he needs to. He is a man mountain for Syria in the paint. .36-point lead for New Zealand. 1:14 left in this second quarter, and a drive is at the line for 2 shots. He does have World Cup finals experience himself, except it was not the seniors, under-19s, back in 2009. Oh, and he's airballed his second free throw. That's not what you like to see, and he's going to head to the bench. You have a feeling he's looking a little bit worn out. He certainly put an awful lot in to the game so far. Rakawa out with the ball to Vukona. Uses a screen from Harrison. Little shake to try and lose his defender. Can't quite do it, and doesn't get the roll on the jumper. And Syria will come out on a 3-on-2 break and get it to go. Nice, easy transition basket for Bakar, and that's exactly what Syria need. They need to find some high percentage shots. Vukona now. Abercrombie nails another 3. He's absolutely lights out so far today. 15 points now for Tom Abercrombie. Shot clock's off. Are they going to get it over the half in time? They just about do. Karadzian now being guarded by Kenny, trying to find a gap in that defense to penetrate. Goes inside to Al-Hamwi. Al-Hamwi, oh, nice quick turn on the hook shot, and that's a wonderful way for Syria to finish the second quarter. A nice soft hook shot from Al-Hamwi means that at the half-time break, New Zealand lead this one 61-26 over Syria. And a dominant first half performance from New Zealand. Look at the shooting percentages. Syria's slightly lower, to say the least, yet to hit a 3. And you can see New Zealand playing some beautiful team basketball. 16 assists already for them. Neither team will be overly concerned with the turnover situation, but New Zealand will be happy with 7 blocks. Most of those have come when they've doubled or tripled down on Al-Hamwi in the paint. That has to be said, but they'll be happy with the opening 20 minutes of action here at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington. They got out early And that was the opening basket for Vukona, and they applied some serious pressure in the opening quarter and absolutely dominated proceedings. So much so that they finished the first quarter 31-5 up. Their offense slowed down ever so slightly, only 1 point in the second quarter. They also won the second quarter 30-21, but Syria have shown signs of starting to warm up now. Not if that man there, Abercrombie, has anything to do with it. He is leading all scorers with 15 points to his name so far. 3 from 3 from 3-point as well. And the scoring has been pretty well spread for New Zealand. Harrison's got 6, Vukona's got 6, Lowe's got 6, Rusbatch has got 8. In fact, everyone but Rakawa has got their name on the score sheet. And that's a great sign for New Zealand. For Syria, on the other hand, things have been a little bit more difficult. Al-Hamwi's got 6 points to his name, so has Bakar. Al-Hamwi's also got 4 rebounds as well. And then outside of that, Hania Dribe has 5 points, 6 rebounds. And they really are the key players for Syria in this first 20 minutes of action. Still 20 minutes to go, and remember, for New Zealand, a win today means that they will book their plane tickets for the World Cup finals in China next year. That's no small statement, and New Zealand would love to be back at the World Cup finals, one of the biggest stages in world basketball. Beckons for the Tall Blacks, but there's still 20 minutes in front of them, and there's a pretty dogged and determined Syrian team that are going to try and put a stop to the party here at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington. Do they have enough in the locker, Syria, to do that? We wait and see. But at a half-time break, New Zealand lead this one 61-26 over Syria. Make sure you join us for all the second half action shortly.
Congratulations! Thanks to Sal's Pizza. We got the sweet ass. Where's your captain? Where's your captain? Where's your captain? Congratulations to the pizza box. Congratulations to the team. Congrats. Girls, how are we looking? You won. Wait, I gotta get off the court. Half belly hug, congratulations! Where's your captain? Oh, here. There's the pizza box. You take that home. Cash for you as well. Thank you very much. Guys, who's ready to see the Tall Blacks again? Syria supporters, are you out there?
Security placements. Custodian partner of the Tall Blacks. Division, preferred supplier to Basketball New Zealand.
美国空调驻中国国家队和新西兰国家队2019年篮球世界杯创造最佳战绩。
Stay up to date with the Tall Blacks and follow the journey to the 2019 FIBA World Cup in China. Follow the Tall Ferns for information on the international program. Support the Tall Blacks by purchasing the official merchandise on the merchandise store in the foyer.
Alright, we've got just over 3 minutes to go, team. So we kick off the second half. Score looks great, 61-26.
Welcome back to the TSB Bank Arena here in Wellington in New Zealand. And we are halfway through the World Cup qualifier between New Zealand and Syria. And New Zealand will be very, very pleased with their opening two-quarter performance. They lead this one 61-26 after 20 minutes of action. Remember, New Zealand win today. That's it. They've booked their tickets to the World Cup finals in China next year. And they'd love to do that in front of the home crowd here in Wellington. But still 20 more minutes of action, and that man there, Coach Veselin Matic for Syria, will have been no doubt plotting the downfall of New Zealand and how to be a party pooper in this second half. Syria certainly did start warming up in that second quarter, particularly offensively. But can they warm up enough to drag themselves back into this one? It's a tall task against what is a very strong New Zealand roster. Just under 2 minutes now till we start the second half, and that man there shooting the ball, Abercrombie, had an absolute field day in that first half. 15 points, 3 from 3 from the perimeter, and all but one of the Tall Blacks has registered on the score sheet. We're just waiting for Rakawa to make his mark on the game, but that's Tom Abercrombie. As I said, 15 points. A real key part of the roster for New Zealand. And he'll be looking forward to it. That's Al Hamwi, the big man for Syria. He's not had it all his own way in the first quarter. He's used to a different outcome from the games. He's leading, in fact, the whole of the Asian qualifiers in the number of blocks. Would expect it. He is 2 meters 20 tall, but 20 blocks to his name. But the issue they've got at the moment is Syria are leaking points. 61 points given up in that first half. That said, they have conceded more than 100 points in their last 3 games. And that's something that Coach Matic will have to work on, or will have been working on, in this locker room during the halftime break to make sure that they close things down. But the fans here in Wellington, as you can see, have certainly enjoyed themselves so far. There's been plenty for them to enjoy. And they'll be hoping more of the same in the second half, whereas the Syrian players and coaching staff will be hoping that they can put the brakes on this Tall Blacks roster. And we wait to see if they can. Now remember, if you've enjoyed all this World Cup action, and numerous fans have around the world, as we've packed out arenas, the easiest way to keep up to date with it is the official World Cup app. It's available on iOS and Android, so you've no excuses. Get your phone out, get your tablet out, whatever smart device you've got, and download it now. You'll get all the highlights, the news, the views, and you'll be up to date with everything that is World Cup basketball. Well, here we go. The second half gets underway between New Zealand and Syria in this FIBA 2019 World Cup qualifier. Kenny now for New Zealand, drives straight to the basket, kicks it to the corner, wide open jumper is short. Sheikh Ali will bring it down and hand it off to Karadzian for Syria. Alosh doesn't take it, gives it to Al-Hamwi. Al-Hamwi looking for the options in front of him, nothing there. Shot clock down to 6, inside to Al-Hamwi. And that's good help defense by Abercrombie to stop Al-Hamwi getting the easy 2. And New Zealand quickly out on the break. Vukonen out to Kenny, to Turangi, to Lowe for 3. Oh, beautiful team offense from New Zealand. And they pick up where they left off. A whistle from the officials, not sure what it's for, we're just waiting. We presume it's a technicality issue. And as you can see, Coach Matic not overly happy with something, but it's going to be a Syrian ball on the sideline. And Al-Osh will hand it off to Saleh. Al-Osh uses the Al-Hamwi screen, and it is a big screen to use. But the Al-Osh jumper is well contested, and he's off target with it. To Lowe, to Vukonen, who spills the ball to Al-Hamwi. And Al-Osh will look to see if there's a fast break bucket to be had. He decides there isn't, so he'll slow it back down. Shot clock down to 10 as Al-Hamwi receives the pass on the wing. Al-Osh, nice pass inside, but Karadzian can't get it to go. New Zealand come away with it. Turangi now has his pass knocked away, and it's a 2-on break. Al-Osh, nice pass inside, and the foul is going to be called on Abercrombie. He's not particularly happy, understandably so. Slightly submarined there by Sheikh Ali. Here's the interception by Al-Osh, and he puts the jets on, hands it off to Sheikh Ali, and yeah, that is not the best way to play the game by Sheikh Ali. You can end up properly hurting someone. I understand he's trying to draw the contact, but any much more contact and he could have flipped Abercrombie, and that's the last thing you want to see. Thankfully, no damage done, and Sheikh Ali's at the line for 2 free throws. Connects with the first. And the second. Had his best game, actually, of the World Cup qualifier, Sheikh Ali, against New Zealand back in September, as he scored 16 points, but New Zealand continue to apply the pressure. Abercrombie can't make them pay this time. And Al-Hamwi gets a piece of that one. Sheikh Ali now to Alosh. Al-Hamwi now being guarded by Vukona. He's going to back his way to the basket and use just his size. Not an awful lot Vukona can do. He's giving up 27 centimetres to Al-Hamwi. Second foul called on Vukona, and Al-Hamwi go to the line for 2 shots. Good with the first. And the second. Not always the easiest skill for big men to master the free throw shooting. The size of the ball in their hands creates them with difficulties, but Al-Hamwi secures both from the line there for Syria. Takes them up to 30 points now. Kenny to Vukona, back to Kenny. He looked like he'd re-established himself on the floor. Officials say he hadn't got both feet back into court. So it's going to be a Syrian ball on the baseline. Coach Haner is just questioning in it. Be interesting to see the replay to see if he did get both feet down back into the court before. Oh, in fact, it looks like... Oh, in fact, it's not to do with that. We're having issues with the shot clock that we're needing clearing up before we can get started. 4.3 left on the shot clock. It's going to be a Tall Blacks ball under the basket. Coach Matic isn't happy, he's saying he was out of bounds. Either way, it's going to be a Tall Blacks ball from the baseline. Abercrombie doesn't take the three this time, floats inside. Oh my goodness, he looked opposed to Al-Hamwi. Didn't get it to go. Claiming that he was fouled. Nice exchange between the two players, and it's the wonderful thing about basketball. You go to battle in every possession, but 9 times out of 10 you can have a smile with your opponent in between. As you both know, you're just trying your hardest for your team, and in this case your country. Wonderful exchange there between Abercrombie and Al-Hamwi. Alosh inside to Al-Hamwi, going up against Lowe, and Lowe just barreled to the basket there. Al-Hamwi just too strong for him. Kenny now pulls up for the short jumper off the glass and misses. Lowe back to Kenny, catch and shoot from the corner pocket, gets the 3 to go. New Zealand's lead extends back out to 37. Just a little over 6 minutes left here in the third quarter in Wellington. And New Zealand are on their way. They're not far away from a World Cup final spot. Sheikh Ali tries to score the 3, and he's fortunate that Al-Jabi is there to scoop up the loose ball. Kenny now back to Lowe. Lowe doesn't take the 3, drives inside, hands off to Vukona. That's a nice little soft 3-foot shot to make, and he makes it with ease. And that's Vukona to double digits. He's yet to miss from the field. And Alosh is going to be fouled by Kenny and earn himself a trip to the line. I think we'll see some changes now. Kenny's looking a little bit tired out there. And we do indeed, as Perrott Hunt comes back into the game after a pretty successful first stint for Perrott Hunt. You have to bear in mind he's only 17 years old, but the Tall Blacks have a wonderful saying: if you're good enough, you're old enough. And they certainly live by that, bringing Perrott Hunt into the roster. But no better way to get ready for the big international stage is by experiencing it. And this will do him wonders for his future career, as Alosh can only make the first of his 2 free throws. Bogdanovic now into the game. And he inbounds it to Perrott Hunt. Hands it back. Perrott Hunt with a shake, back out. Vodanovic for three, nails the three, and that's going to be the problem that Syria face. If Al-Hamwi is left with a player that can shoot the ball, he doesn't want to be coming that far out, and an interception now for New Zealand. As Tarangi hands it off to Vodanovic, but he can't get it to go. Lowe almost has the rebound. There's a scramble for the ball now, and Al-Hamwi will scoop up the loose ball as Adribe and Lowe end up on the floor. That's going to be the first foul called on Lowe. Here's the triple from Vodanovic. Just another break in play, and it looks like Al-Shawaka is going to come into the game for Syria. He's not going to get in yet, though. As Adribe hands it back to Alosh. Alosh now skips his way inside. Oh, beautiful play. And that truly was skipping his way inside. Tarangi for three. Off target. And Sheikh Ali, one of the only Syrian players to show a bit of urgency on the offensive end there. Out it comes to Adribe. He steps in for the long two. He's short with that attempt. 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. A 37-point lead for New Zealand. As a brave Vodanovic goes inside and is swatted by Al-Hamwi. And the fast break layup is nice and easy for Al-Jabi. Low now. Oh, hands it back and takes a forearm across the face, but Perrott Hunt's back to his feet. A couple of changes coming in from New Zealand now as Pledger and Natai come back into the game, and Al-Hamwi doing what Al-Hamwi does best, blocking the ball. And that sparks the transition basket for Syria. Perrott Hunt now. Floats the right-hander to go. And he certainly plays with a old head on young shoulders. Read the offense well there. Saw the opportunity and took it. Nice high percentage shot. Good defense by Alex Pledger though for New Zealand. And that will spark an offensive break. Here comes Pledger. No good, but he'll get to the line for two shots. Been playing in the senior national team for 10 years now as Pledger. He'd love to make it to the World Cup finals next year. He's averaging 10 points per game in these World Cup finals. He's had some big performances as well. 11 points against China, 13 against Hong Kong, and a double-double against Korea. 12 points, 10 boards, 2 blocks as well in that one. So Alex Pledger certainly has put in some shifts in the black of New Zealand. Connects with the first of his free throws. And the second. Alosh now for Syria. Al-Shawaka hands it to Al-Jabi. Drops the three. And believe it or not, that's Syria's first three of the game. Perrott Hunt now. Oh, the lane opens up from inside to Pledger, and Pledger is fouled hard by Al-Shawaka. And Pledger once again will make his way to the charity stripe for 2. And here's the first 3 of the game for Syria. After almost, well, in fact, it was after 27 minutes of play. That's Syria's 3rd team foul of the quarter. New Zealand already committed their 4 team fouls. Can't get the first to go. He was 65% from the free throw line before tonight's game, Alex Pledger. Not the best shooting percentage, but then again, not the worst. But he has shot better here. That's 3 out of his last 4 attempts are good. And New Zealand will drop into their zone press again. I think it's a 2-2-1 zone press, which really is just used to stall the Syrian offense rather than steal the ball. Al-Jabi skips inside again, kicks it out to Bakar, who nails the 3, and you wait 27 minutes for 1 3-pointer, and you know what they say, 2 come along at once. Syria now with another 3-pointer. Still a 34-point lead to New Zealand though, and Tarangi has it stolen by Alosh. Gets it out to Al-Jabi. Oh, swatted away. Good combination between Perrott Hunt and Natai as Natai follows up to finish a defensive play out. And there's the 3. And Saleh can't hold on to it, and it goes straight out of bounds. Another turnover for Syria. Into the corner now to Rusbach. Kicks it back out. New Zealand play beautiful team basketball throughout this game so far, and Tarangi hits the 3. Sorry, it wasn't Tarangi, it was Natai, and no real surprise. I should know that Natai was going to hit the 3, and he's stolen it away this time. He's going to drive to the basket. Oh, he looks to poster him, but he's fouled by Al-Shawaka, and Natai will go to the line for the shot, and I should have known it was Natai taking the 3. He's the best 3-point shooter in the Asian qualifiers. Listen to this stat. He's shooting 59.3% from the perimeter before tonight's game. Unbelievable. Made 5 from 6 in the last game against Jordan. Absolute dead-eye from the perimeter. Jordan Natai. Connects with his first free throw of the night. And the second. Takes his tally up to 8 points, along with 2 boards and 2 assists. And the rebound is pulled in by Saleh, and he's trying to find some space, but Pledger says, not going to happen on my watch. Natai now to Rakawa, into the corner. Wonderful pass to Vodanovic. He can't get the 3 to go, and the foul's going to be called. Wait to see who that's on. I think it's being called on. Wait to see. Al-Shawaka is going to be called for the foul, and Pledger will go to the line. Part of Melbourne United, one of the most iconic Australian club teams. They obviously won the NBL in Australia last year. The celebration scenes are pretty legendary from that win. Bakar now to Alosh. Al-Jabi. Back out to Alosh for 3. Oh, from distance. Alosh drains the 3. Rakawa now hands it to Natai, floats inside, lovely pass. Can't get the three to go though, as Rusbach is off target. Oh, what a pass on the outlet though. Great vision there. And Al-Jabi is the lucky recipient of what was a beautiful pass. And that's the end of the third quarter. And New Zealand still firmly in control of this one at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington. They lead 86-50 over Syria. 3 quarters gone, 1 to go. Are they 10 minutes away from making it to the World Cup finals in China? Make sure you join me to find out.
World. FIBA Basketball World Cup is right here. You want it? Come and get it.
Welcome back to the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington for what has been a masterclass of basketball from New Zealand. After 3 quarters, they lead this one by 36. 86-50 over Syria. Some dominant performances throughout the New Zealand roster, but it has been team basketball that has got them out to this commanding lead. Still just one player yet to register a point, and that is Rakawa. And I'm sure they'll try and get him on the scorebook before the end of the game. That said, Syria have picked up their production throughout this game. They had an absolutely turbulent first quarter, only scoring 5 points. But since then, they've scored 21 in the second, 24 in the third. But New Zealand have kept them at arm's length throughout this contest. And for New Zealand, they are now 10 minutes away from booking their tickets to the World Cup finals in China. And I'm sure there'll be some wonderful celebrations here in Wellington if they do that this evening. And Syria waited all game for some threes to start dropping, and they managed to hit 3 of them in that quarter. It certainly helped their case, but they'll need to hit an awful lot more in this final 10 minutes if they're to fight their way back into this one. And here we go for the final 10 minutes of action here at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, as New Zealand lead 86-50 over Syria after 3 quarters of this FIBA 2019 World Cup qualifier. Oh, nice change of direction by Bakar. Can't get a reverse layup to go, but Al-Shawaka is fouled as he grabs the offensive board. And the opening play of the game, sorry, the opening play of the quarter will be Al-Shawaka going to the line for 2 shots. Can't get the first to go. Only a 50% free throw shooter before tonight's game. This is his 4th World Cup qualifier. Gets the second to drop. And Rakawa now with the ball. Comes to Natai, back to Rakawa, to Natai. Patience here from New Zealand. It's almost knocked away though. Shot clock down to 6. Natai, Pledger, long 2. Fight for the rebound is won by Al-Shawaka. And Syria will progress their own offense now. Long 3 from Alosh. And the Iron just spits that one back out. Rakawa now brings it up over the half, and he's the only New Zealand player yet to have points on the board. He'll be looking to change that shortly, you'd imagine. Back to Pledger. Oh, nice behind the back by Rusbach. Unfortunately for him, he's off target with a jumper, but New Zealand will hold on to possession. Vodanovic now To Rakawa, to Pledger. Oh, nice soft touch by Pledger. It's not always the easiest shot to make when you're that close to the basket. It's not a layup, it's not a jump shot. It's very delicate skill. Plenty of practice in making that one. Bakar now, no good, and Rakawa pulls the rebound down for New Zealand, and nice pass ahead to Natai. Tough pass inside, and Rusbach is fouled. Earns himself a trip to the line. And that man Rakawa will no doubt want to get some points. Doesn't want to be the one left out in the party. Harrison's come back into the game for New Zealand. And he had a good introduction to the game. His first 7.5 minutes, 6 points, 2 boards, and probably most notably a big rejection of Al Hamwi. And Rusbach connects with both those free throws, and New Zealand back into their 2-2-1 press. Alosh now. Al Jarbi. He's going to shoot the three. Oh, he banks the three. I'm not too sure I heard the bank call. Maybe you said it quietly. You have a feeling from that body language you didn't. But it's a gift of the glass for Al Jarbi. Almost steals it away from Kawa as well to Harrison. Little hesitation, little fake. Too much on that one from Harrison, though. The foul's going to be called. And here's the triple from Al Jarbi. And luckily for him, the bank's obviously open on Sunday in New Zealand. And Rusbach hits the first of the 2 free throws after the foul was called on Alosh. Can't connect with the second, and Al Hamwi just extends his arms over Vodanovic and pulls the rebound in. Al Hamwi with the screen for Al Jarbi. He wants to shoot the three again, but this time he's going to move the ball inside to Al Hamwi. Beautiful patient play there by Syria. Took their time until the right opportunity presented itself, and that opportunity was the easy score for Al Hamwi. Rakawa now, Harrison, long two. Not quite enough height on the trajectory of that shot. A flat shot's always going to be difficult to find its way into the basket. A little bit more height makes a huge amount of difference. Al Jarbi. Not enough weight on that one, and it's going to be a New Zealand ball. We've got just almost a hushed anticipation in the arena at the moment, as obviously New Zealand blew this game open pretty early on. They lead by 35 points now. 6:41 left to play in the final quarter, and it's almost that nervous anticipation before a party can start that you feel within the arena. But when the final buzzer goes, and if New Zealand secure this win, you have a feeling the party will start, as New Zealand will have booked their places at the World Cup finals. Inside to Harrison now, up against Al Hamwi. And Vodanovic manages to knock it back in, but he can only knock it back in for it to go out again. And Perrott Hunt will come back in for New Zealand. Al Jarbi, nice and direct to the basket. And Perrott Hunt now has it knocked away, but it falls into the hands of Rakawa. Uses the screen. Oh, he's blocked by Alosh. And Al Jarbi, once again, is there for the transition, and Al Jarbi's almost ended up sitting on the lap of one of the photographers off the baseline. New Zealand's lead trimmed to just 31 points now. Perrott Hunt, nice change of direction. Can't make it fully pay though, as he misses the three. Drives inside, Eurostep, hands off to Harrison, out to Vodanovic. In and out, and New Zealand's shooting percentages are dropping. Bakar, nice handoff pass from Bakar to Al Shawaka. And the New Zealand lead is down to 29. The closest it's been in a long, long time. And the Kiwi crowd obviously sense that maybe their boys need a bit more support. So the chanting starts kicking in. And it's knocked away. Another steal. Al Jabi now trying to skip his way past Harrison. Instead comes back out to Al Hamwi. To Al Osh. Inside to Al Hamwi. Another two. And at what point does Coach Hanet call a timeout? Or is this one of those coaching points where you ask your team to solve the problem? Rakawa pulls up for the jumper. Can't get it to go. Harrison, he's off target as well. Oh, unfortunately for New Zealand, Bakar can't hold on to it, and New Zealand will come away with it in what has been a bit of a scrappy phase of play here for New Zealand. Probably their worst bit of form in this game so far. Perrott Hunt pulls up for the two at the free throw line. Once again, he can't make it count. Syria will have an opportunity to trim the lead a little bit further. Bakar trying to shake Natai. Natai stays with him, and Bakar steps out of bounds. Good defense by Natai. And nice play there by Jordan Natai, just calls his teammates into a quick huddle, trying to correct a few things that have gone wrong so far, as Syria have got their way back into this one a little bit. And Natai will go to the bench now as Rusbach comes back in. Rakawa. Vodanovic almost has it stolen away by Bakar, but it's going to stay with New Zealand. 3:46 left on the game clock. New Zealand lead this one by 27, and they really are so close to qualifying for the World Cup finals now. Perrott Hunt inside, and it's stolen away. Good quick hands by Corey. Alosh now. Corey, good ball movement here by Syria, but nothing going inside, which is a concern. A long three, and he's fouled. Perrott Hunt's going to be called for the foul. And that's going to send Alosh to the line for 3 free throws. And the opportunity to trim the New Zealand lead down a little bit further. Believe it or not, Syria have currently outscored New Zealand 15-5 in this final quarter. And this is what we were talking about earlier, where Syria have shown real glimpses of being able to compete with the best teams in this Asian region qualifiers. The issue they've had is they can't put that together for 40 minutes at the moment. But those glimpses is what Coach Matic will be working on to make those glimpses last a little bit longer. And one! Soleil chases down the free throw rebound. Gets the two, and he'll go to the line for the extra one. New Zealand's leads down to 23, and Syria's resurgence in this fourth quarter continues. They've now outscored New Zealand 18-5, and they're just shy of 7 minutes in this fourth quarter. Perrott Hunt now. Goes inside to Vodanovic. Nice use of his body, but once again, comes up short. And Coach Haner has certainly got something to talk about to his team after the game. He won't be happy with how they've performed to close this game out. He will have challenged them to keep the intensity throughout the game. Corrine out for Syria, picks the dribble up. Oh my goodness me, Soleil banks it for 3. New Zealand lead is at 20. Soleil's up to 5 points. Perrott Hunt inside, finger roll for the lay-in, and a nervous cheer from the crowd here at the TSB Bank Arena, as they haven't seen much from their Tall Blacks in this final quarter. Soleil inside. Al Shawaka passes it back out though. Soleil fakes a 3, drives inside, draws some contact. But it's going to be a New Zealand ball as it comes off the hand of Idelby. And there's the banked 3. Again, I'm not sure if it was intended, but they're all worth 3 points. Bodanovich now. And has it almost knocked away, and it's off the hands of Harrison, so it's going to be a Syria ball again, and New Zealand's lead is at 18. How long does Coach Haner leave it? It's unlikely Syria are going to be able to get the 18 points back in a minute and 40, but he can't be overly happy. Idelby now. He's fouled as he drives to the basket. And that'll be 4th team foul of the quarter for New Zealand. So the next one will send Syria to the line, but he was fouled in the act of shooting, so Idelby will go to the line for 2. Just 19 years old. One of the youngest players in the Syrian roster, alongside Ahmed Kayata. That's the second to go. And it's a 21-point ball game now. 1:28 to go, and Syria can take real pride from the fight back into this game that they've had. They were down by 26 at the end of the first quarter, and things were not looking good. But they have kept their heads down. They have battled. They have worked so hard to stay in this game, and this 4th quarter is a testament to exactly what Syrian basketball is. It's all about fight, battle and passion, and they certainly can hold their heads up high leaving the TSB Bank Arena here in Wellington today, because they have pushed New Zealand further than was expected after that first quarter. Rakawa now, and hits the jumper, and that is every single tallback on the score sheet. And that's something for Coach Haner to be happy with. And he won't be too happy after this final quarter, though, as we enter the final minute of the game. Al-Jabi comes back out to Alosh, and Alosh is fouled by Ethan Rusbach. He's not happy, but it's a pretty easy call for the officials. And Alosh will go to the line for 3 shots. Alosh is good with the first. And the second. Can't get the third to go, but he's up to 11 points to go along with his 5 assists. A pretty good night at the office for Sharif Alosh. Rakawa now, almost stolen by Alosh. Perrott Hunt into the corner. Rusbach doesn't take the 3. Skips it to Rakawa instead. Last 30 seconds now. Perrott Hunt, Rusbach, corner 3. Off target. Harrison will grab the rebound and go up strong, but he's fouled. And that one's going to be called, I think, on Ahmed Kayata. Harrison will have enjoyed his game today as the first of his free throws drops. That's him up to 7 points, 4 rebounds, but I'm sure the memory he'll have from today's game is the big block he got on Al Hamwi, and then getting out in transition for the alley-oop dunk. And connects with the second. 18 seconds left now as Corrie advances it for Syria. Into the hands of Karadzian. And they'll just see the clock out now, as that's the end of the game. And that is the Tall Blacks booking their place on the plane. They are through to the World Cup finals in China next year. And the crowd at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington have been treated to a wonderful game. New Zealand win this one 97-74 over Syria. But more importantly for the Tall Blacks is they are now officially going to be part of the big show next year in China. And they started the game unbelievably well, New Zealand, and Syria can hold their heads high. They battled all the way to the final buzzer. In fact, winning that final quarter 24-11, the Syrians should be very, very proud of what they've done, and they've certainly a credit to their country, and I'm sure back home they'll be happy. But here's your huddle. Here are the winners of tonight's game, and here are the latest team to make it to the World Cup finals in China. What a great achievement for the Kiwis. It'll be their 6th appearance at the World Cup finals. And it's on the back of some impressive young talent as well on show. As they say, if you're good enough, you're old enough here in New Zealand. And the likes of Perrott Hunt and Harrison are certainly good enough. There's your shooting statistics for tonight. 50% from threes for New Zealand and 26 assists. They'll be very happy with that. A great team performance for the Tall Blacks. Syria, on the other hand, their shooting percentage is not great. Didn't hit a three-pointer until deep, deep, deep into the third quarter. And that's going to be always difficult for them to win games. Leading scorer was Al Jabi with 18 for Syria. New Zealand were led by Abercrombie with 15. Al Hamwi got another couple of blocks to his name. That takes him up to 22 blocks, leading the whole of Asia in blocks. And outside of that, Rusbach had 11 for New Zealand, as did Pledger, and Al Hamwi had 14 for Syria. And some good performances, but plenty for the crowd to enjoy here at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington. And New Zealand will be very, very happy indeed. They are once again going to be back at the World Cup finals. And this time they've booked their flights to China. And they started the game as they meant to go on. Absolutely dominant first quarter performance. They finished up after 10 minutes, leading 31-5 over Syria. And that really did set the tone for the game. They extended that lead further in the second quarter, ending up with a 35-point lead at the halftime break. But Syria warmed up in the second half, so much so in that final quarter. They outscored New Zealand 24-11, and that really does sum Syria up throughout this qualification process. They've had glimmers, phases of wonderful play, as competitive as any other team in the Asian qualifiers. The key for Syria is going to be making that consistent across the 40 minutes, and maybe starting the game is a little bit quicker than they did here today. Moving across to the box score, some of your big performers. As I said, Abercrombie led the way for New Zealand, 15 points, 3 rebounds and a steal to his name. 3 other players in double-digit. Rusbach with 11, Pledger with 11, and Vukona with 10. For Syria, it was Al Jabi who led the way, an impressive 18 points for him, with 3 rebounds, 3 assists and a steal. 2 other players in double digits was Al Hamwi with 14 points, 9 rebounds, a steal and 2 blocks. And Al Osh also had 11 points and 5 assists. Not enough, though, for Syria to take the win here today. A valiant fight back from Syria was not enough to get them the win. Both these teams now will look forward to the final qualification window for New Zealand. They'll be using it as tune-up games as they face Lebanon and Jordan, whilst Syria will face Korea and China. Thank you so much for joining me here in Wellington. New Zealand won this one 97-74. That means they've qualified for the World Cup finals in China next year. I'm sure they'll be partying here in Wellington today for that. Thanks for joining me. New Zealand 97, Syria 74.